Hello and welcome, this is Eagle Eye 621, and today we're going to be talking about remote starting your Shaky-Sand farm. So what you see behind me is one of the small ones we built in a previous video, and I will put a couple links in the iCards to the bamboo and also the sugarcane. And the way that these farms are activated are with a lever. And I just removed the wall here and the water so we can see what's going on. And to turn the farm on, you switch the lever, and then you can turn it off. And I'll just take a clone of a couple of these things over here. And if you want to move the lever further away, then you can move the lever further away. And of course, this still works. But redstone is kind of strange sometimes, and if you want to go much further than that, you're going to think about throwing a repeater in there somewhere to extend the signal so that you can make it go further. But you will find out very quickly if you try and add a repeater right here, and this is still in the line before we're getting to any of our timing issues, or so you might think. Now this doesn't work anymore. You can see that the sand is not shaking, and it is obviously not fast growing your own crops. And sometimes the sand might even break when you turn it off. It shouldn't, but you will have the issue that it won't grow. And that's not based on this being put down here. I can move this back to where the lever was originally, and you can see we suffer from our same problem. The sand doesn't shake, the crops don't grow. Now there is a way to remote start this, which I will show you how to do. There's a fun way to do this and a more practical way to do this, and I will show you the more fun way first, and then I will show you the more practical way. So let's take a look at the materials that you need to build this in this chest over here. And let me also point out that this particular method was shown by someone named Mamba, although in most of their other profiles they're known as Black Mamba, and I'll put a link to the Discord in the description. Speaking of which, you should come and join us on that Discord where we talk about fun things like this. And let's get started. And the way that you do this is by hooking up some tripwires. So let's give ourselves some room so that we have 3 blocks right here. And then we can put a tripwire on one side and the other, and these are the tripwire hooks. And then we're going to need the string in the middle. You will notice that when I put my character in this, everything is working, and the sand is shaking, the bamboo is fast growing, but you don't want to have to stand in here. So what you can do is come underneath a little bit, so that you can put a piston, then you can put a temporary rail down to put a minecart here. Do be sure to break this rail. If you don't, the string will break, and now you can hook this up to any sort of power signal that you're looking for. So if I grab a lever, for example, if we power this, it pushes the minecart into the string, and you can see everything is working perfectly well. We can turn that off, and it does come off. And Mumba noticed that you can do this by firing an item into the string, although the minecart is a little bit easier. You don't have to worry about items everywhere. Now the reason that you would want to do something like this is so that you can hook this up to an automatic system, and something like the materials that I have in this chest, although there are of course a lot of ways to do this, but I'll just give you an example right here. And what we're going to do is we're going to come one underneath. We're going to come out a little bit here, and we're going to put a comparator that's going to be taking a reading off of a chest. If you were operating some sort of a super smelter, you would have a hopper going into this chest to tell you how full it was. And then we can have a block here with a redstone torch, and then just some dust along the way. And you will notice that this is on right now, but if I were to fill this chest up with something, so for example, if you were completely filled up with bamboo, this turns off. And the reason this turns off is because this is powered. Although the way it's set up right now, any items would turn it off. If you slap a redstone block next to it, then even if you have one item missing, then this whole thing turns on, because the way the comparators work, the signal coming in from the side is blocking the signal going out this way. So the whole farm turns on, but as soon as this is completely filled, you can see the comparator now turns back on, which turns off this torch, and the signal is going through, which is retracting because this is off, so the signal does not go through. But as soon as you are smelting something, it kicks back on because this is off, so this line turns back on. Now do be aware that Shaky-Sand is only unload safe in the off position. So if you have an automated system like this, you do need to be careful not to accidentally unload the chunks while your machine had kicked back on, or this whole thing can break. Now this is the fun way to do it, but there is a more practical way to do this as well. And this was pointed out by somebody whose name I'm going to absolutely butcher. I'm actually not going to do it because there's no way I'm going to get this right. But do be sure to check the description for this person's name as well, who pointed out that they changed some of the timings and they got this to work, but you actually don't need to change any of the timings, and I will show you. And this is a much more simple way to do it, not quite as fun, and these are the materials that you need. Again, let me make a little clone right here. And the way that you do this is you want to line yourself up to come a little bit off so that your redstone block is one away from this line. Then we can put a slime block. We can put some temporary blocks here so that we can put a sticky piston. And then we can power this whole thing with a lever. And you will note that if we use a sticky piston to push a redstone block to power this line, everything kicks on, everything is working. You have your Shaky-Sand, your fast growing crops, and your bamboo, which is fast growing. And of course this turns off as well. And you can do that same setup where you have a comparator reading out of a chest to power this block, or otherwise power this sticky piston. So make sure that when you set up your system, you don't accidentally create any quick pulses, because if you one tick pulse this, it will drop the block and this won't automatically turn off at that point. Again, you can turn it on and turn it off. And you can connect the line as long as you'd like, again, to this block, or the other one, it's the block that's powering the piston that's pushing the minecart into it. And you can then drag that as far as you would like. I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, I would appreciate a like. If you think somebody else might find this helpful, then do be sure to share it with them. And for more videos like this, do be sure to subscribe. And of course, head on over to the Discord, where you can talk about all these other fun discoveries that we continue to make before they make it into these videos. Thanks for stopping by.